Sup boners, it's Tyler again from Bobby Rabbits. That's my new intro, do you like it? If not, well, aw shucks. Anyway, today we're going to walk through creating a collection of NFTs on the Solana network. Let's jump in. Those rascally rabbits. Let's start out with a few things that you're going to need to launch your collection. Firstly, I want to emphasize that a familiarity with the command line is going to help you a ton in launching your collection. It also helps to be familiar with coding, but it's not absolutely necessary. Lastly, should you struggle with any of these steps in the walkthrough, please see the links in the description below for our Discord, as well as some other comprehensive videos on launching your Solana NFT collection. With that, let's go. The first thing you're going to need in starting an NFT collection is the friggin' art. Now, I'm not the artist for Bobby Rabbits, fortunately for you guys, but I make some dope stuff. I'm kidding, but that joke will make sense in just a minute. Let's take a look at the art I've set up. Super cool. We need to install a few things to get our collection up and running. The first of which is NodeJS. Go with the LTS or long-term support version. Next, we need the Solana CLI or the tool suite, which will enable us to talk to the Solana network from our command line. We'll also need TS Node and Yarn. Information on how to install these are linked below. Please use those resources, as well as the documentation for each package itself. We now need to set up a keypair, aka a wallet, for our NFT collection. There are a few ways to do that. Let's look at two of these options. The first is to generate a new keypair using the command prompt in the Solana CLI. Let's open the command prompt in this folder. On Windows, you can select the address bar, type cmd, hit enter, and it will pull up the command prompt in that folder. Now let's take a look at our Solana config. So we're going to type solana config get. And this is going to show us the config file, the RPC we're using to talk to Solana, the WebSocket that's computed, and the keypair, which is mine.json right now. To create a new keypair, we can type solana keygen, not ketgen, keygen grind starts with, and then we select what we want it to start with. Let's do, I keep hitting the wrong button. I'll do capital. Now this command is telling Solana that we want to make a new public key. That's actually going to give us the private key, but the public key will start with WOW. Now you can't use a capital O because it's a non-base 58 character and not accepted as a public key address. The one just tells Solana that we only want one of these key pairs. Once I hit enter, it will search for a key pair that starts with WOW, and we're searching right now. 0 have been found. Now we found one. The more characters you specify, the longer it's going to take. It tells us that it wrote the key pair to this address, which is actually our public address, .json. Now what that means is in our folder now we have this file. Now this file contains the private key, and I'm not going to show you that private key, but if you were to open this, you would have the private key. You can then use that private key to take it over to, say, Phantom or Solflare or Slope, any of your favorite extension wallets. So now we have the art, we have most of the tools, and we have the key pair. Now we're ready to begin the process of getting our NFTs ready for minting. We're going to be using Metaplex candy machine tools and smart contracts to set up our collection for mint. So we're going to go to the Metaplex Foundation, Metaplex repository, and we're going to copy this address here. We'll go to our command prompt, and we'll type git clone, and then we'll paste in the address. Hit enter, and it will start to clone that repository into our folder. Now that that's done, we need to install the dependencies for this to work. To do that, we need to change directory or CD into the Metaplex/JS folder. Once we're in here, we need to use yarn to install. So yarn install will install all the dependencies we need for this to work. Looks crazy, but it's okay. Okay, now that that is done installing all the dependencies, we need to back out into the main folder again. So I'm going to do cd, and we're back at the main folder. Now the candy machine is mostly ready. We just have a few more steps to complete before we upload our entire collection. We need to create an assets folder in our main directory. Here you can see my assets folder. In the assets folder, you are going to find all of the images labeled from 0 to whatever your maximum image is, -99. It also has a matching metadata file, each one matching the name. So 0.json matches to 0.png. The metadata file is what tells us the name, the creators, the collection, the royalties, and the attributes of each NFT we upload. I'll include a download to some basic assets that will include a sample metadata file for you. But for now, let's look at one of mine. Here's the metadata file for 0.json. It tells you this is dope NFT number 0. The symbol is dope. The image is 0.png. Don't worry about what this actually means right now, but just know that if you have 0.png, it will be replaced with an address that shows your NFT. This tells us the type it is. It's an image with a file type of PNG. Again, the category of what image. The creators and the share they get of the royalties is right here. So this creator gets this many royalties. Then a description, just describing your project in a few words. This is your royalties. 1,000 here means that 10% of aftermarket sales or secondary market sales pay out to this address in royalties. The addition just means this is 0. 1 will be 1, 2 will be 2. These are the traits, and then finally the collection. Now that our assets are ready to go, we still need to set up our configuration file for our candy machine. In this root directory, we will make a file called config.json. Let's take a look at mine and set it up. This will also be an asset included with the metadata file. I'll include a sample of the config. So here we see a few things. The first one is the price. I'm going to set my price at 0.1. That will mean it will cost 0.1 Sol to mint this NFT. The number, which is 100, 0 through 99, means there are 100 total. The gatekeeper, you can use a CAPTCHA to protect your mint against botting, meaning people will have to use a CAPTCHA to access the mint. I'm not going to for this one, but you can. In here, within these quotations, we're going to paste in our address. This is where all of the mint money will go. SPL token account and SPL token are both usable if you are using a created SPL token to mint. We will not be doing that for this one, but just know that it is an option. The go live date specifies when you can go live with the mint. Anytime after that date, the mint will be accessible. Anytime before it, people will be locked out. I'm going to set mine for 03 March 2022. I don't want 03. I'm sorry. I want 30 March 2022 at, which would be 5 p.m., 6 p.m. Central Time. I'm in the Central Time Zone. The end settings can be used if you would like to end your mint at any specific number or at a specific time. Let's say you wanted to only run your mint for 24 hours. You can specify the end settings that way. Whitelist mint settings is a way to offer people either discounts or before public sale minting. or to control your mint to only specific people you would like to mint. The hidden settings is something with Reveal. It's kind of complicated. Some of the links below in the description will show you how to do that. We're not going to cover that. The storage just means how we're going to pay for hosting. Airweave.sol means we're going to host on Arweave and pay with Sol. These you don't need to worry about for right now. All of this is accessible on the Metaplex documentation, which is right here. It's very good. Candy Machine v2 will get you started. You can go through these. This link will also be down in the description. We are finally ready to run the upload command. However, first there's something I want to show you. The upload command is going to upload and begin hosting our NFTs so they can be minted. It's the most expensive process we will do, and to calculate the approximate cost to upload a collection for minting, you'll need to use two calculators. The first is a fee calculator from Metaplex. Let's do that now. You'll go to feecalc.live, and this will give you an approximate cost for Metaplex to upload your NFTs. So we're doing a collection size of 100. That should cost roughly 0.17 Sol. That is not a lot of money, but as you can see, if you were to start doing 1,000, you'd be up at 1.67. It starts to get more and more expensive, especially if you're talking about collection sizes of 10,000 or so. For example, this one's 1672. I could have just multiplied by 10, but I didn't. That's okay. The next thing we need to check is the hosting fees for Arweave. This is a one-time upfront payment that covers indefinite hosting of your uploaded images and metadata. So first we need to grab our size of the assets folder, which is 125 megabytes. Come back over here, we enter 125, select megabyte, and we calculate. Data size of this much costs about $1 USD, so not too shabby. Okay, now we're actually ready to run the command. So we're going to bring up our command prompt, and we are going to type ts node, specify the folder we're in, Metaplex, JS, packages, CLI, src, Candy Machine v2 CLI.ts. Now we need to tell it that we're going to upload. We need to tell it which environment we're going to use, which is going to be mainnet-beta. And we need to tell it what keypair. I'm going to use mine. And we need to tell it where the config is. We also need to specify a cache location. I'm just going to use the example. This will create a .cache folder in your root folder. And then we need to tell it that we're uploading these assets from our assets folder. Once we've done that, we can run the command. And we sit here nervously and wait and make sure everything works properly. So, had a little trouble with some timeouts, so I ran the upload command again. And this is where my screen recordings and audio recordings get super out of sync and some are missing. Basically, after uploading, you're going to want to look for successful equals true. If it says false, you either need to upload again or run a verify command. I will put the verify upload command in the description. This is just a test collection that I threw up to show the verify command because I lost that footage. So what you're going to do is you're going to type in the command, and I'll post the command below. And it's going to run through each of your assets and make sure they are successfully uploaded. At the bottom, it's going to show the total numbers uploaded out of the total number tried to upload. As long as those match and it says ready to deploy, you are good to go to set up your minting site. Okay, we're going to need a user interface now. So we're going to grab a repository from Candy Machine v2 Responsive UI. You're going to grab the code link, just like that, and go back to your command prompt. you're going to type in git clone and paste in that repository address. Once you hit enter, it will clone that into a folder. Then we're going to change directories into that folder we just cloned. Once we're in here, we're going to hit yarn install. This is going to install the dependencies again for this user interface, just like we did for the Metaplex. I'm going to give this a minute to run. Okay, now that that's complete, you can go through and edit this using the files you see in here and your favorite text editor. I use Visual Studio Code, but the main files you're going to look at are this app.css and this home.tsx. I am not much of a front-end developer, so I am not going to spend time telling you how to do it. There's plenty of resources out there. I'll also be linking a Discord below where you can ask questions. For now, we're just going to take a look at mine and how to set it up. Once you've downloaded your UI and you've run yarn install, you need to edit your environment variable file. This is a .env file. This file is going to specify your Candy Machine ID, what network you're using, and how you're accessing that network, the RPC. Now you can get custom RPCs, and I suggest you do for a project. Because mine's low and there won't be a huge amount of minting, just the public RPC will be fine. You don't need to worry about these parts. These are if you're using an SPL token to pay for the mint. We are not, we're just using Sol, so that's fine. Once you have that ready, you can open up a command prompt, and we're going to use the command yarn start. This is going to create a development server, which is basically a way for you to see live changes to your mint site. This is going to take a minute to render. This is actually live, meaning you can mint right now from this. So I could connect my wallet. And it says, oh, hey, wait, you can't mint yet. Remember that go live date? That's because I set it to the future. So right now it won't let me mint. If I were to change the config to say today at 3:11 p.m. Central Time, we could mint. But we're not going to do that for now because I want this to go live in a little while. Okay, once you have edited your UI, you're going to want to come over here in Visual Studio Code and select a new terminal. You can also do this from the command line of your command prompt, but since I would already be editing my files in Visual Studio Code, that's what I've decided to stay in. So I am going to create a build or a production version of this UI. So I'm going to use the command yarn build, and that's going to run and create a built version. Okay, now we can see that it has built a production version and created a new file or new folder up here called build. So we're going to go into our dope UI. We're going to grab this file and just move it back out one directory to our dope NFT folder. We're going to close Visual Studio Code, and we are going to open the build folder. Now, if you don't have open with code as available, you can go right through open folder. I happen to have it, so that's how I did it. So right now we have a build folder that has some of our JavaScript in it. It has our media. It has some of the other public folder things. It's basically just a compiled version of your code. From here, we want to make sure nothing has changed. So we're going to initialize the repository. We're going to see that these are all the changes we've made. We're going to go ahead and hit the plus sign to stage these changes. Then we're going to commit it to master with a period and a check mark, click. And now we open up a new terminal and we can run git push, and we're going to paste in that GitHub repository that we created earlier. This is going to take some time to push all of these things to your GitHub repository, and I will be back with you when that happens. Okay, so now we can go to our GitHub, refresh the page, and pray that we see a code there. Hey-oh, there we go. So now what we need to do is go over to Versal, create an account with Versal, and then create a new project. Now you can see I signed in with my GitHub, so it's already connected. Now I can use GitHub to push this repository for hosting through Versal. So I'm going to click import. How to NFT is fine. We're not going to talk into custom domains or anything like that. This is literally just deploying it for build. So we're going to click deploy. You can take a look at anything that it does, but it's usually pretty quick. And we go ahead and click on this to take us to the Versal app. And you can look at it here. I can connect to this wallet, or I can connect my wallet to this. And remember, again, we can't use it yet because I've set the date further in advance. This is live though. This is a production version ready to be minted. All I would have to do is update the candy machine and it would be good to go. So I'm gonna do that now. Just know this will be live. I will be back with you in a moment. Okay, now we're just going to update the candy machine to reflect a few changes. One is going to be the price. The other is going to be the start date. So I've opened up the config.json again, and I'm going to change this price. And we're going to do, let's do 0.25. Actually, let's do 0.1. So it is 0.1 Sol to purchase. The reason I put it higher earlier was to protect against any bot minting because I'm not using a gatekeeper or whitelist token locking. So one way to do that is just to up your price. And now we're going to change this to the 20th of March this year. And we're going to make it go live at, we'll make it go live at, what was that, 20? And there we go. We're going to save this, Control S to save. And now we're going to open up a command line. I could have just done that in there, but that's okay. And we are going to go TS node, Metaplex, JS, packages, CLI, SRC, candy machine, to CLI.ts, and the command is update candy machine, and we need to specify the environment of mainnet-beta. We need to specify the keypair, mine.json. We need to specify the config because that's what we just changed, and we need to specify our cache file, which I used example. We hit enter on that, and it should go through the process of updating to the new config. Okay, well, now that we've come back to this, it did have a timeout. This means we're not sure if it's succeeded or failed. One way you can check this is to grab the transaction signature right here. You can check it up here as well. Using the Explorer, you can use the CLI. I'm just gonna go here to the mint page, refresh this and reconnect my wallet, and you can see it did update because it is now able to mint. So I will show you what that looks like. I can press the mint button. It's going to process the transaction, and it's going to tell me that 0.0119812 Sol. It is going to be 0.0219812 for you. I'm minting from the Treasury wallet, which means that I don't pay the 0.1. I only pay the fees to mint. These are the minting fees, which actually right now turn out to be less than $1. So I'm going to approve that. We sit here and watch it to make sure that it's a success. Congratulations, mint successful, confetti, yay. And that's pretty much it. I do want to make a correction though. The price is set to 0.1 sol per mint. I believe I said while explaining that the fees, that it would be 0.02. Just to be clear, at the current price of sol, you'd be looking at about $9 USD per mint. However, the mint is live, so if you're so inclined to own our fun NFT for a low price, it does support our efforts to put informative content onto YouTube. I can't promise much from the collection, but I will put the collection up on Magic Eden for secondary sale following the completion of the mint. Thanks as always, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below or find me in the Bobby Rabbits Discord. Okay, bye.